on musical cryptography using fuzzy logic approach using Indian Carnatic music. Thank you, Anurag, for accepting our invitation, and the dice is yours.
Okay, ma'am, I have changed my slide. Is it visible at your end?
Yeah, yeah. The slide is visible for me.
Hello.
Yeah, the slide is visible.
Okay, now I start speaking.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So our today's topic is AI and ML tech connected. So the basic agenda of this presentation is to show that how artificial intelligence and machine learning have came into existence and what are its emerging source and how it can be benefited us and has been benefiting in many application sectors and what are all the research areas that can be done in artificial intelligence and machine learning and the students who are studying in electrical engineering, computer science engineering, what kind of career they can look forward after studying or after learning the machine learning and artificial intelligence. So we initially talk about its the evolution. As we know, in 21st century, the data science is one of the most erotic and most we can say the people over the entire world are working on the data science. So we can see it is one of the demanding area of research as well as the job in 21st century. So the reason why the data science have came into existence so popularly is that it provides a data driven approach. And data driven approach means what? The data driven decision helps the companies or any organization to understand effectively, whether it is a company, whether it is a social media data, or whether it is a marketing company, any type of company is ever follow the driven approach. So it can give a lot on lamp of advantages to that particular organizations. So we are living in an age where we are totally surrounded with the data.
Anurag, I can't hear you. Are you there? Hello, Anurag.
Hello, hello, is my
Yeah,
voice
Anurag, I
going?
can hear you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, is my voice going?
Yes.
Yes, Anurag, I can hear you. Share your screen.
Hello, is my voice going? Please respond.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Why I am not getting that? Why my connection is getting prompted? I'm really sorry for that. Is my slide visible?
Yes.
Okay, so we were talking about the we are living in the age of a data-driven approach, where data could be the any kind of thing that we are surrounded with. As we can see that every manual database is converting into the virtual database. Means whatever the information that we were using to store in the form of manually or in the papers, every single information are getting stored in the database. So as this online social media is coming, whether in the form of like in the, Amazon or e-commerce websites or Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter. So all of these are generating an ample amount of data that we cannot even think of that. So the basics, fundamental of arising the field of a data science or machine learning and artificial intelligence is the reason that the amount of data that we are having, we can mine the important sorts of data and we can make something beneficial from it. So the purpose of the telling the story about the data science is only to get insight that what actually the data and what is the power of the data. So initially popularizing the concept of a data science, the term data mining was in we can say was in craze or was in the trend from the data mining to the knowledge discovery. See, we have a lot of data and we are using the database approaches to storing such huge amount of data. So there comes a concept of data warehouse. Data warehouse provides disciplined or sequential approach of storing the data, that we can organize the so amount of data on the basis of their applicability and resource. So the concept of data mining, that we are mining the useful data or knowledgeable data out of those data. Is my voice going properly? Hello.
Yes, yes. You continue.
Okay. Okay. So then now comes the concept of the data science. So this is the whole about the story that I have talked about, the emergence of the data science. Eventually the term data science begins to refer that almost everything that has something to do with data, which is included but not limited to the data collection or data modeling, analysis and data applications. Here the data applications in this webinar is referred to the emergence of machine learning and artificial intelligence as an emerging field, the surge of the data that made it possible to train computers and machines to perform all sorts of tasks that might be taken as a standard, which we are following today as a practice of a different field of a computer science, which is the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So now comes that what is a data versus information. A data can be any character, number, images, word, text, which is present in a raw or unorganized form. Uh, Whereas the information can be created from the data. The data is present in the raw format form, but we can mine the data and we can make those data, and we can convert those raw data into the useful informations, and that can be as output from the computer science and artificial intelligence. So we can see the data can be any form of the numerical data, categorical data, time series data, and the text. Okay. Okay. As we are talking about the data, then the source of data are there, but there are different form of data that is available on the internet. Some data are the structured data, some data are the semi-structured data, some data are the unstructured data. What is structured data? I give you a very good example. Suppose we have a table containing the records of the people who are suffering from COVID-19. So it's a labeled and structured data. In the table we label one person through its name, through its category, through its age, through its martial information, is means its residential informations. So those kind of data which is arranged and labeled in a proper format, whether in the form of a CSV file or a table, it is a structured data. Semi-structured data, structure that is unorganized. So there it a bit confusing, the semi-structured and structured, but yes, it is a bit unorganized. The best example we can take, suppose we download any kind of file from the internet. Right. So the data that we get is not arranged in the form of the tables but also it can be said that it is unstructured data. But the basics difference between the unstructured and the semi-structured data is the unstructured data, it requires the advanced tool and software to access the information. Without advanced tool and software, you cannot manipulate the unstructured kind of a data. So we can see the number of websites that we are using today, the Google, Facebook, Amazon, Instagram, all of it's generating a huge amount of data. Whatever it is written here will generate as much data in a day as the entire planet does in a year. So we can think how much number of data is generating day by day. So now the concept of the data mining. Why I am discussing this concept data mining? Because we are approaching towards the machine learning and artificial intelligence. So we need to learn that what is the process that we extract the useful data or useful information out of the data warehouse. So data is there as we can see in the diagram. So the data, so knowledge discovery from the data is a sequential process. So first we select the data and the process comes to the data cleaning. In this, we remove the noisy and redundant data. Suppose a good example that I give, suppose you have a unstructured kind of a data and you are removing any kind of parentheses or any capital letters. So removing those redundant or noisy data which is of no use, like you are removing the articles or any auxiliary grammar forms. So these are can be taken as that the cleaning the data. So the next comes the data integration. Data integration, in this step, the multiple data sources are combined to get the one form. So this is the sequential form. This is not so, we don't have much time that we will discuss about this, all the sequential process. But yes, we can see that one initial process start with the data selection. We go for the target data and pre-process it and transform it. Then we mine the data. So what is the data mining? In this step, the intelligent methods means intelligent algorithms. There are several algorithms which we apply for the data mining. And most of the data mining algorithms are similar to the machine learning paradigm. In this method, the intelligent methods are applied in order to extract the data patterns. And next we comes to the pattern evaluation. In this, the data patterns that we get, we extract the features out of it and it gets evaluated. So here comes the data mining applications. A lot of data mining applications is in the market basket analysis, healthcare, in the fraud detections, in lie detections. So these are all the applications that we see in day-to-day life, that where the data mining, even the same working with the machine learning, means the machine learning algorithm can contain in market basket analysis, healthcare, fraud detections, in education, in financial banking. So the data science, as we can see here, everything is interlinked better. See, if you are trying, or if you have a zeal to adopt the data science as a career, so you should have the multiple means capabilities or multiple things that you should be aware with. It's not only that you only know the computer science, the basics of the programming, then you will be compatible enough in data science field. If you are approaching towards the data science field, then you should be aware that what field that you are going to approach. Data science is everywhere, whether it is bioinformatics, whether it is the healthcare, whether it is the airlines, whatever may be in education. So next comes the what field you are choosing, and you should have the knowledge of that particular domain. Like if we say about its bioinformatics, so you should have the core knowledge of the bioinformatics to apply the data science and machine learning there. The next come, you should, as the data science is a bit associated with the knowledge discovery, so there comes a concept of maths and statistics as well. So you should have a bit knowledge about the statistics, and you should have then the main thing comes that you have to learn the associated programming languages. Like if you are approaching for the data science career or artificial intelligence as a career, then you should have the basics programming knowledge of the R or Python, we can say, and you should know the basics algorithm of the machine learning. So next, here comes that why we are interjoining all the things in the form of like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. So artificial intelligence is something that getting machines to do what humans are good. We are just implementing all the things, and we are just commanding over the machines that you have to perform like a human. And machine learning is the approach that we feed the algorithm, the feed through which we feed the data into the machine to perform like a humans. And deep learning is the sub branch of machine learning, a type of machine learning in which we train our models more deeply to understand and to visualize and to analytics over the major problems so efficiently. There are several algorithms which is very tricky for training and testing the data set that the data set we take, which we train and test the data. The one algorithm which is very popular nowadays and which is implementing in every kind of research and projects is artificial neural network. In artificial neural network, we train the data set into three modular formats: the first initial layer, and the middle layer, and the final layer. So what is the suppose I'm giving a very fine examples related to it. Suppose there are four peoples, A, B, C, D are in the first layer, and we have given a task all those four to recognize the image of a lion, and we have collected the 100 image of the lions, and we feed into that, and we have assigned the task of those four people, A, B, C, D, that you recognize the which is the most appropriate figure or image of the lion. So in the first layer that we are assigning, and the second layer that we collect some test data set, which we connect the its artificial neural network. See, it's probably work or it similarly works like the human neurons works, and it is get assigned to the second layer that it is training the data set in such a way that the test result, whatever the outcome of the result that you will get, it will be so accurate. So the concept of deep learning here comes that the data sets is so much, and here also the concept of the deep learning, mostly that we use the deep learning in the big data field, where the data is amount in the lakhs or in crores, that we can say. So here becomes the connection between the data science and ML. As we can see, is the field of computer science and artificial intelligence. And in artificial intelligence, as I have told, a program that can sense, reason, and act and adapt like a human, and algorithms whose performance improve to stay exposed to the data over time. And deep learning is a subpart of the machine learning. So now we comes to the machine learning. Uh, Is my voice going properly?
Yes, it is
Yes,
okay.
Anurag, you continue.
Okay. So I just want to talk about some basics of before moving towards the machine learning. So what is it? The term machine learnings enable the machines to learn the things without being explicitly programmed. So there are several approaches of machine learning that we will see: the supervised, unsupervised, and semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning, and we'll see the basics difference between them. So initially, I just want that why we need. I just want to discuss why we need the term machine learning. See, machines are not intelligent by nature. Initially, machines were designed to perform some specific tasks, like to monitor anything, or to just to calculate or to compute anything, like digging deep holes or traveling into the spaces. But as the time passed, the machines do their tasks much faster, at a higher level of precision, I can say, in compared with the human. So they have made our life so smooth and so easy. So the basic difference between the humans and machine is the work efficiency and the performance and the intelligence that we could compare between that. So the human brain receives the data gathered by the senses: vision, hearing, smell, taste, and tactility, whatever we have. And these gathered data are sent to the human brain, and the neural system forms a perception and the taking action. In the same way, the artificial neural network works. In very similar way, the artificial network are being worked as to take the data and to analyze the data and give the outcome. So the machine learning is the branch of artificial intelligence that aims to enabling machines to perform their jobs skillfully. So we have here is the Abid concept of a statistical learning. So the statistical learning methods constitute the backbone of the intelligence software, which is used to make the machine intelligence. So, because machine learning algorithms require data to learn and to manipulate over things, so they must have a connection with the discipline of the database. And that is why I have discussed some basic concept of the data science and data warehouse. So, if the machine learning and artificial intelligence is there, then the data is there. If data is not there, then there should not be the concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning, because it is all falls under the branch of a data science. If data science is an umbrella, then we can say there are the several branches of that umbrella, like artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, and all those things like data analytics, big data, whatever may be. So I just discussed a bit about the differences between the machine learning approaches, which is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. See, supervised learning works with the labeled dataset. So there are two, as I have discussed, the labeled dataset and unlabeled dataset. And throughout my research work, I have found one thing, that it is very adaptive to work with the labeled dataset. If you are assigned with an unlabeled dataset, it's very tricky task to arrange those datasets and to perform the algorithm with those datasets. So in the most of the data science works, whether it is a business intelligence or the market basket analysis or in healthcare, whatever may be, everywhere it is demanded to work with mostly with the supervised learning, in whether in the terms of the efficiency of the work or whether in the terms of accuracy of the result. So supervised learning targets kind of, we can say, infer a function mapping from the training data, which is the labeled. The training data consists of the input vector X and the output vector Y of labels and tags. So why we call it as it is a supervised learning? It is because the output vector that we consist the kind of a labeled data for each training data set that we have, it's present in the training data. This labeled data set for the output vector are provided by the supervisor, as we can see it by the name, that is supervised learning. Often these supervisors are humans, but machines can also be do such labelings. Human judgment are much more expensive than machines, but the higher error rates in the data labeled by the machine suggest the superiority of the human judgment. So we can say that we perform the manually labeled dataset in the precise and reliable resources of the supervised learning. However, we can say in some cases the machines can be used for the reliable labeling of the dataset. Now we come to unsupervised learning. The unsupervised learning, the basic concept, we lack the supervisors or the training data. There is no any concept of the training data. So if the training data is not there, so in other words, we can say what all we have to do with the unlabeled dataset, the idea is to find the hidden structure of the data. Until unless we will not find what is the pattern of the data is going, there can be a number of reasons for we do not having a labeled dataset, and therefore our risk means the algorithms may get into the failure. So this is whole about the supervised and unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning is a bit different in comparison with the supervised and unsupervised learning. The reinforcement learning methods, we can say, it aims at using the observations gathered from the interaction with the environment to take the actions that would minimize the risk. And also we can say as we can see here in the classification diagram, the reinforcement algorithms like cold start preference means the most of the work are done in the field of the artificial and machine learning is totally based upon the nature of the dataset. the throughout learning that we can extract out from it, that the types of the learnings that we have, that totally the algorithms and outcomes of the machine learning and artificial intelligence, whatever the model that we are making, or whatever the recommendation system means. Suppose we are making a recommendation system using machine learning and artificial intelligence. So for the recommendation system, we should have the training data set. If the training data set is not there, then we cannot ensure the accuracy of the data. So this is all about that how we create a machine learning models. Firstly, we, as I have discussed, we have the raw data, and we perform some sequential tasks to convert those raw data in the informative knowledgeable informations, or whether it can be taken as it's gone in the pre-processing. We pre-process the data using some machine learning algorithm, and then we convert into the structured data as format. Then we here then meanwhile we apply the learning algorithm, and we can extract a candidate model, and then we deploy our model, and finally we get the machine learning approaches. Actually, I am unable to show means present through my laptop. I had also to show my papers that I had worked with, but what we can do, I can explain. For this, I can give a good example. I have done one research over the utilization of machine learning models for real estate house price predictions. So what I have did in that research, I have to predict the real estate, as I am from Jharkhand, Ranchi. So I have collected the real estate data from all the areas of the Ranchi, and I have when I will come for the further slides more clearly, I have selected some data and have created the feature selections, like if the real estate of a particular that area is something amount like 50,000 per square, and on what basis they are applying the prices, like what the additional things that they are providing in their real estate, like it's a parking area, or the material is good, or the area wise. So a lot of kind of I can say the features was there, the uh, area of the room, or the size of the balcony, or whatever the additional things that they are offering. And on the basis of that feature selections, I have implemented it with the regression modeling, and with the firstly, I have applied the classification, and then apply the collinear matrix and regression model, and finally I come for the prediction that that particular area, the real estate price can be this. So that way I have got. So we can see how training data set is very important. If training data set is not there, then whatever the model you are proposing, it won't give in the terms of whether it's accuracy or efficiency. It's not there. So we are the same thing that we have establishing between the AI, ML, and machine learning, which I have discussed. Okay. So here comes with the more beneficial approach of the artificial intelligence. So I want to discuss a bit about artificial intelligence. See, artificial intelligence started as a subfield of computer science with the focus on solving the tasks that humans can, but computer can't do. For instance, it's image recognitions. So suppose I give a very good example. If I work with the manual recognizing that which person is not with the face mask, or which person is with the face mask, I can recognize it very efficiently. Okay, you are with face mask and you are not with face mask. But the same task, if it is assigned to a computer or a machine to recognize the face that is with the face mask or without the face mask, how that machine or computer will do. So here comes the concept of machine learning. The term I have used, the image recognitions. So the one example that I have given for the artificial neural network, that in the initial stage of artificial intelligence, the four variables was there, and the task is to identify the pictures of the lion. So in the same way here, we will feed the 100 training data set of the images of the face mask. Suppose 100 images with the face mask, or 100 images without the face mask. So if we implement this kind of data set with artificial neural network or any kind of machine learning algorithm, so we can build a model which will predict, like we can name it as the face mask detector using machine learning algorithm. Fair. So artificial intelligence. So what is the benefit and what is the means? What is the, we can say, magic or the miracle of artificial intelligence that we can see that AI can be approached in many ways. For example, the writing a computer program that implements a set of rules divided by the domain expertise, or handcrafting rules can be laborious or time consuming. So this is the basics of the AI, means the data driven approach or the manual approach. That is why I wanted to explain. So now we discuss the more different kind of machine learning algorithm. So now we comes to application areas and the types of the machine learning. So artificial intelligence, as I told, it's a branch itself. It's an ocean. A lot of sub parts are there. So in artificial intelligence, we have the deep learning machine in predictive analytics, and we convert the text into speech and speech into text, image recognition system, and machine vision. And we have the natural language processing techniques, text mining, features. A lot of things are there, natural language processing. So we can see that every single field of today's era, like whether it is the healthcare, whether it is the education, marketing, sales, uh, where whatever things, every e-commerce, everything is ruled by the field of the artificial intelligence. We see a specific area, and where the artificial intelligence is not there, it's very hard to predict or to say that the artificial intelligence in that area does not exist or something like that. So these are the basic applications of the we take a one part from it, the natural language processing, and I discuss a bit significance about the natural language processing, that how it is utilizing in our day-to-day life. So for understanding the natural language processing, we should understand the meaning, the word text mining, that why the text mining comes, because natural language processing technique and text mining has a very deep connection with that. So the text data mining can be described as a process of extracting essential data from the standard language text. All the data that we generate via text messages, documents, emails, or we can say the comments in a very common language. The one research domain is very popular in this time, that we are playing with a lot of data set of the Twitter. We are taking a lot of unstructured comments and reviews of the people from the Twitter and social media account, and using the text mining technique, we are coming with the process of opinion mining and sentiment analysis. What is it? I explain. I explain it is in my further slides. So text mining is a process of that, where we mine the useful stat. Suppose we have the thousands of mails of a bank, where the words like your amount is debited, your amount is credited, your amount has been denied. So we take such corpus of the email data in a nutshell. We have the thousands of such kind of email data set, and we apply the data pre-processing technique. We remove the redundant data, and we apply the feature selector, that we apply the opinion mining and sentiment analysis. How we do that, I will explain it in a further slide using the natural language processing. So we can see here the question Google can't answer. Could you give me a summary instead of me reading a large number of articles? Uh, in your Gmail, you can see there are the several folders. You can see it is a folder for the promotional inboxes email. It is the spam emails. So it has already been implemented in the Gmail. So the Gmail is associated with those kind of machine learning algorithm, and it is applying by itself and analyzing the image, that what kind of email it is, and thereby bifurcating or classifying it on the basis of its genre. So spam email detection is one of the emerging research area, or one of the popular research area for the natural language processing these days. So we just we perform the information extraction out of the data sets of we have of the text. What is information extraction? The information is extraction of the structured data are the entities, relationships, and attribute describing the pattern of the data in which we apply the natural language processing. So what is natural language processing? See, natural language processing abbreviation is NLP. So, the natural language processing is a branch of artificial intelligence in which the computer software can understand human language as it is spoken, and natural language processing is primarily as a component of artificial intelligence. So the basic agenda of development of the natural language processing applications is somehow difficult because computers generally expect human to speak to them in a programming language, that is we say the machine level language, and which could be accurate, clear, and exceptionally structured. Like, so human speech is usually not authentic, so that it can depend on the many complex variables including the slang, social text, and the regional jargons. So here the concept comes the data pre-processing. Using data pre-processing technique, we remove the stop words or redundant data sets out of the those text, and then particular text which we get after those refinement, that those are the filtered data set which we can use in our implementation of the artificial intelligence algorithm. Is my voice going? Is there any glitch? Hello. Hello.
Please, please continue.
Okay. Actually, I'm confirming it because my network is so poor.
Ye-
Okay. So the text mining and the data mining, there are the following text mining approach that we use, like a keyboard association analysis, and here comes the concept of I see. Here we can see the applications of natural language processing in sentiment analysis, and you might have used the Zomato and Swiggy, the chatbot that you see after ordering, like you are ordering pizza from Zomato. So after getting initiated your order, you see there is option of a chatbot where you can connect with your regarding your problem, that where is your order, how long it will take to arrive. So as the initials that you take, you put questions. So initially we can think that someone is sitting at their another end and replying to our messages, but it's not. It is a kind of a recommendation system that is built with the help of the natural language processing and sentiment analysis, which is working as a human, which we call it as a chat bot, which is giving our reply as the humans can do. And the next come as the speech recognitions. The very good example you can see, there are several apps in the Google Play Store through which you can convert your text into the speech and vice versa, and the machine transformations. So the areas of the text mining are the information extraction, natural language processing, and the one that I have discussed, it is data mining and information retrieval. So there are some uh, processes which is associated with the text mining, the text pre-processing and the text transformation. Then we select the features of the text, and then we apply and evaluate our models. Okay. So here we can see the sequential stages of the natural language processing. If you want to really work with the natural language processing, then this is the overview. Suppose initially we import the data and we create a corpus. We just, as I have told, we are collecting the email data and we are generating and we're creating a corpus of the email data. And we apply the pre-processing techniques. What is that? We are removing tags, stop words, punctuations, numbers, and other things, and then we come to creating a document matrix. Then it comes the text analysis process. For that text analysis process, we have the several algorithms under natural language processing. Like we can apply clustering, we can apply classification, we can apply sentiment analysis and opinion mining. Opinion mining is the word suggests that we are mining the opinion with suppose you have to build a recommendation system. Suppose you are building a model to means to give a good review over a kind of a car. So you go to the car website and you collect a lot of review of the those websites that is given by the several users, and you are implying this same process, and you are doing the text analysis. In text analysis, what you are doing, you are implementing the classification and clustering. Then you are mining the opinion. Means out of those reviews, we are mining the suggestion that how many people that would recommend this car and how many people are there that would recommend that car. So we are building the text analysis model in such a way. And then it comes the text visualization. See, I have forgotten to mention this is a very important field of a data science. It's a data visualization. Suppose you have a data set of the 100 COVID patients, or anything that the 100 kind of we can say the types of the cloths we have, and you have to show it visually. So we cannot say in the form of a text, and we cannot say it in the form of the CSV file. But the data visualization is one of the field that we do it. There are several data visualization tools available nowadays. But yes, we use a good popular programming language, which is the R programming language, for the data visualization. We can visualize the data set in the form of the charts, graphs, and the cluster data sets, and the different kinds of graph. The data visualization, the main focus of the data visualization is to show your analysis in the form of the visualization, so that it can be easily visually understandable to the people that what particular data set is trying to communicate. And here we comes the initial process of natural language processing, which is the tokenization. It is used for the natural language processing. The process of splitting the whole data corpus into the smaller chunks, means you are dividing the large data set into different bifurcated form, is known as a tokenization. And then it comes the stemming, means you're normalizing the words into the base or root forms, like to detect what kind of thing. Stemming, the main focus of stemming is the opinion mining, as I have told. Suppose you have to mine any recommendations, you have to mine kind of good reviews, or any kind of guidance, or any kind of means emphasizations, then we perform the detections through stemming. And here comes the concept of the sentiment analysis. We are implying the sentiment analysis and making the machines enabled to apply the sentiment analysis. And associated with the natural language processing, there is a one good field that is emerging nowadays, is called emotional intelligence. Now as we are done with the sentiment analysis to make the machines to analyze the sentiment, now we are working to enable the machines to understand the human's emotions, or any kind of emotions that we can have. And a good research is going on. We have the face detections researches are going on, in which we put the several kind of data set of images in several moods, like in anger, in happy, and using image recognitions and image feature selection techniques or pattern evaluations. We are working with it's a good field. So those who want with the artificial intelligence and data science, it's not ever limited area. You can work, if you think that a single part there is not a data science, you can just keep that part, you can just take that part as your research project and start working. It will come up with a good research area, and you can come up with a good outcome. No one knows. So the removers, like the applications, as I have told, the natural language processing, which is spam filtering, monitoring public opinions, customer service, email support, and automatic labeling of documents in a business libraries. So next comes, I will give a brief about it. Feature selections. So pattern recognition is the study of how machines can observe the environment and learn to distinguish between the patterns of the interest. Means make a reasonable decisions about the categories of the patterns. So the pattern recognitions, machine simulation and the machine learning sounds very similar, but yes, there is a difference, basics difference, very similar, and technically it is very difficult to distinguish in all this similar context of their scope. So what is pattern? We can see here a lot of kind of pattern images are giving over here, like there is a thumb map and a face of a human. So anything that we see in our surrounding, everything consists of a pattern. So it's like an abstraction which is represented by the set of measurements describing a physical object. So many types of patterns that we can see is visual, temporal, sonic, and logical. So these are the kind of a pattern. I give a very good example of the feature extraction and the feature selection that I have talked about. In every field, whether you are working with the classification, clustering, natural language process, or pattern, if there is a concept of artificial intelligence, feature extraction would be there. Because until and unless you will not extract the feature, you will not select the feature of a data set from the data set you have, you cannot work or go ahead. So the feature extraction is the process of dimensionality reductions in which the initial set of a raw data is reduced to more manageable groups of for processing. A characteristics of this large data set is the large number of variables that require a lot of computing resources to process. Feature extraction in the name of the methods that select or to combine the variables into features and effectively reducing the amount of data that must be processed. So I give a very good examples. Consider the given image below. Suppose we have the given data set of 10,000 images of a motorcycles, and each of the 1,000 width and 1,000 height. Suppose the images have the solid backgrounds and other are busy backgrounds of the unnecessary data set, as you can see. So by implying the feature selection, you are removing the redundant part of that images. And by feature selection extraction algorithm, when these thousands of the images are fed to feature extraction algorithms, we lose all the unnecessary data set, which is not important to identify the motorcycles, or we can keep as a consolidated list for, we can say, the useful features, which can then fit directly to the classifier. So this process is a lot similar or a lot easier than having a classifier look at a data set of the 10,000 images to learn the properties of the motorcycles. So what are the features that we can extract out of these motorcycles? Are its vehicles, its front part, its mechanical parts, its round part. So this is how we play with the feature extractions. We extract the features and remove the redundant data, and we build a feature vector and just apply the classifier algorithm. So the more application areas of machine learning algorithms are mentioned here. I just give a brief about that. Medicinal services and medical diagnosis. It includes all the assortments, like the strategies that takes care of the symptomatic or prognostic issues in the assortment of theoretic areas, like it is a sequence movement or extractionist of the restorative informations for results inquired about. So we can see we additionally use the machine learning information for the information of, for the investigation of the theoretic records. For example, recognizing the regularities in the information and managing inadequate information. So, sorry. The next come the driving predictions. And we have the foreseeing traffic and online transport applications, and as we know that we have a pre-owned taxi booking applications like Uber, Ola. Every single such applications anticipate the cost, and it is outsetting the horror of the booking itself and the calculation which characterize the system behind, and so through applications. And the machine learning are also being implemented in the video surveillance and security and email spam detection that I have told, it is one of the greatest, and we can build the product recommendations system as well. So product recommendations, like there is no uncertainty in the way that the internet shopping has assumed control over the retail advertise in the previous hardly any years. So we can implement this sort of machine learning in all those areas. So the real world applications of machine learning are traffic prediction, search engine and online fraud detections, and medical diagnosis, and text and speech recognitions, spam email filtering, image recognitions, and all of those areas in business analytics and sales forecasting, marketing forecasting. As this particular webinar is conducted for the ECE students, so I have done one research in this field. I cannot show it. I'm really sorry because I'm using my cell phone. What I have done one research for the topic name was the next gen power generation using machine learning forecasting. What I have done, there are thousands of hydroelectric power plant in India, right? So I have taken the 10-year data set of the electric consumption and electrical productivity and generation of those hydroelectric power plant in India, and I have made an what we can say. I have used R programming language for the data visualization of those data set that I have collected from the internet, and I have made a predictive model which was a which was through the machine learning forecasting, that it was monitoring that what is the condition of those. I have also applied the image recognition technique and feature selections. I was predicting the condition of that hydraulic power plant and the total the total amount of electricity generation will be there in the next 10 years, that I have predicted throughout the data set that I have collected. And I have also applied the simulation, what I have done in it. Suppose we have the turbine, we have a good, I have a don't good sound knowledge of the electrical engineering. I am just telling you in a brief that we have a turbine system in the generator are there in the hydraulic power plant. I have shown that we can implement the IoT based sensor in those turbine, like velocity sensors and the water sensor, temperature sensors. And although it is a machine, but turbine has to monitored by a human. So the basics agenda or the basic need by implementing the IoT based sensors in the turbine or the generator is to automate the functionality of the hydroelectric turbine, that it will sense all the whatever the needed, what amount of water level is needed, how much electricity to be generated in per day, and it will detect all things by itself. And there is a computer system which is attached to those sensor, and it will do all those functionalities with its self. There is no intervention of a humans needed. Means the turbine system is fully automated with the IoT based sensor and machine learning. So this is what the research that I have done in electrical engineering. So those now it comes the future scope of the machine learning. So those who are means deciding to go in this line. So there are a number of lines, like future of the artificial intelligence, like in the healthcare, transportation, chatbots, and in defense. Also in defense system, we are a lot to do with the research work. And now the things, as you have heard about the Internet of Things, IoT, the Internet of Things, now it is converting to the Internet of People. Now we have the concept of wearable computing. So in defense, there is a good scope that we can implement the wearable computing, and everything is connected with the sensors. So defense is a very good area that we can do a lot with IoT and machine learning. So the artificial intelligence job profiles are there, which is the AI data analyst. Suppose you are working in a data marketing company and you have to foresee and forecast the sales, means you have to predict the sales, that by the next month what level of sales is going to have in our company. And you can be the big data engineer, BI developer, data scientist, ML engineer, and product engineer, and a lot of and the mostly you can go for the research areas in machine learning and data analytics. And also in electrical engineering, a lot of things are to do with the sensors and machine learning. So this is whole about the basics of the data science and machine learning, as the topic was AI and ML tech connective. So I'm just giving here a link and concluding the session, that for data sets and project, this I have given the two links. I will share this PPT with your coordinator. You can go through this links. The one, if you have to do any kind of research in machine learning and artificial intelligence, so most sure you will be needed a good data set. So these are the two data site. One is the UCI data repository of machine learning and kaggle.com. You can get the data set of any domain over here. And for the initials, we need to learn the data science and machine learning. So those who are the beginners in this area, for learning the data science, ML, AI, or big data courses, there's a good free online tutorial cognitive class which is monitored by the IBM. You can go, and there is a lot of free courses available, weekly free courses available for the artificial intelligence and machine learning, with a certification program and online examinations, followed by the examinations. Hello. Thereby I
Thank you,
conclude
Anurag.
this.
Thank you for your valuable presentation. Our students has gained more knowledge about machine learning and artificial intelligence. Participants, if you have any queries, you can open up your mic or you can chat, post it in your chat box. Participants, if you have any queries, you can up your mic or post it in the chat box. Anurag,
Yes, ma'am.
I think there is no queries for the students.
How is it possible, ma'am, that I can see the hundred of people are there in the
Yes,
sessions?
yes, I know, but no one is asking a question. What can I do?
Okay, anyone have any questions, then please ask.
Anurag, one participant asked what is adversarial neural network?
Yes, but I don't see the question.
The question in chat box.
Okay, see the artificial. Yes, ma'am, I'm giving the answers. Hello.
Yeah.
See, the artificial,
Hello.
yeah, yes, I am giving the students answer. See, the
Okay, thank you.
artificial neural network, usually called as the neural networks, and in computing system, it is inspired by the biological neural network which is found in the animals or the human brains. So the artificial neural network is based on the collection of connected units or nodes of the artificial neurons. You can Google the image. I cannot show you right now because I am having sessions through mobile. But you can Google the image of artificial neural network, and you can see the relatively connected nodes are there, and there are the levels of the connected nodes, which is the computational model based on the structural and functional biological neural network. I mean, what are the biological neural neurons that are found in humans and in animals? It is totally the computational approach of the same. Hope I have could give you the answers. Hello.
Yes, Anurag, another one question for you. One student has asked that, did you publish a paper on machine learning?
Yes, I have published three. Means I am having two research papers under considerations in the given journals, and I have published three papers in the field of machine learning.
Okay, Anurag, that's all. He also mentioned that what is the topic you have published paper?
See, the topic of my research was that I have used machine learning models to predict the real estate house price prediction. Right. The one was that, and second one which I have did, I have shown the applications of machine learning in IoT. That what all the machine learning, in what way the machine learning algorithms can be implemented in IoT. And the third one which I have done, it's based on the natural language processing, a bit of the data, big data concept. I have worked with the data set of the email, of is email spam detections, and email genre based classification. Means we are classifying the image based on their nature, that it is the email of a business company, it is the email of let's say Netflix, it is an email from the Facebook. So based on the genre, I have implemented the machine learning algorithm and classified. And one more paper I have done, I have played with a bit with the data set of matrimonial data set of Sadi.com. I have implemented the opinion mining and sentiment analysis, and I have did the horoscope preference, that what are all the people registered in the Sadi.com. I have mined their text, and I have done the text analysis, and through which I have predicted the what all sorts of people are there, and using that text and data analytics, I have predicted their horoscope preferences. And I have also done a survey on Dory system. I have collected a lot of data sets through that survey, and I have just visualized using the data visualization that these are the ratio of the people are still in India who support the Dory or who are in the favor of the Dory. So this whole research that I have done in machine learning.
Another one question: which algorithm is used in your machine learning paper, machine learning research?
So whatever the paper I have did, it's fully a mix up of all the, means the scope of my research was very broadened. Like I've came across with the 2-3 problem statement. So for that, I have implemented various machine learning algorithms. Like I give you the one example of that, the email data set classification I have used. So for the pre-processing, I have implemented the data pre-processing technique using this stemming and lemmatization and tokenization for data pre-processing. And I for classification, I have implemented the machine learning classification. When you will learn machine learning in detail, you will come to know there are a lot of clustering and machine learning and means classification and clustering algorithm based on the problem, based on your problem domain, what you are seeking for, what kind of research that you are having, and on the basis of your research, on the basis of the nature of your research, you can implement the algorithm. What I have implemented, I have implemented the k nearest classification algorithm and a logistical regression. And as my data set was very big, because it's an email data set, I have collected around 5,000 email data set. So for that corpus classification and clustering, I have used the density based clustering algorithm. Hope I could have given your answer.
Okay, Anurag, yes. Thank you. Thank you for your valuable presentation.
Any more questions?
Yes, there is one question. What is the best data science platform to work for beginners?
Okay. See, initially, to start working with the data science, initially you have to learn a lot of associated field of data science. See, you cannot start on working data science as of like of the beginners. For as of if I just tell you my experience when I started working with the data science and machine learning algorithm. Initially, I have learned the programming language, which is Python or R, any one you have to learn. And the most suited programming language is Python, because Python has a lot of libraries and inbuilt functions, which is very easy for the implementation of the machine learning and data science approaches. So initially I have learned the Python programming languages, and then I have moved towards the learning machine learning, that what is a machine learning algorithm and how we can implement in several fields. And for any research, for the one specific thing that you have to do, suppose you want to work with any best suited field, which is like, let's say, the implementation of machine learning in electrical engineering. So first you need to do a lot of literature survey, that what all are the research area which is emerging in electrical engineering associated with the machine learning and artificial intelligence. And after the literature survey, you will come to know that what research has already been done and what are all the area which is still left that you need to work upon. And you choose a field of your interest and get a lot of papers. There are several sites like Science Direct or IEEE. You can collect a lot of research papers, which is open indexed, and ResearchGates is the one most popular. You do register yourself firstly in the ResearchGate. There you will get a lot of paper to study by the several research scholars of your areas of interest, and you go through that paper, that what approach that particular author has followed and what modification that you can do at your end. And now you start implementing the same with your different textual approach, means a different texture, not same copy pasting, but same approach but in the modified form. If it is used the one algorithm, then I will implement into another algorithm of machine learning, right? So you can come with this area. So this is for the research that you have asked initial. So initially I will recommend you go for the basics courses that which is available. You can also learn it from YouTube as well. So first learn the data science, first learn the basics of machine learning, and learn Python or any one programming language like R and Python. Because when you will be implementing machine learning and data science, you need programming language, because if you don't know, you will not be able to implement it. So this is for you. Hello. Hello, is anyone listening? Hello.
Hello, Anurag.
Participants, we have shared you the feedback link in the chat box. Thank you for your valuable presence and your patience too. Thank you. Thank you, participants.